Remember when common sense was common? When standing up for what is right was the right thing to do? Welcome to the right side. Common sense conversations about Hawaii's political landscape and how it affects you, your ohana, and your community. Join us for the next hour as we cut through the political noise and look at Hawaii from the right side, where public officials and community leaders discuss the policies that affect our future, strategies that move the needle, and highlight leaders that are stepping up to make a difference. Get ready for the right side. A common sense conversation.
All right, look, I'm excited to be here. This is our 8th live show, Malia.
It is. They haven't let us off. They haven't kicked us off yet. I'm going to say that every week for the whole year.
You know what? The sad thing is that, that sometimes when I walk away, I go, maybe they should. I don't know.
No, we're having a great
the
time.
thing is, we are, I think, we're giving so much information to the public, which is super important. You know how much I love transparency, and I've been very blessed to be a city councilman now for almost 4 years, going in my second term, and the second time around, I ran on truth, transparency, and trustworthiness, and so thankful that Mr. Salvio has given us this opportunity to do this weekly talk show on Wednesdays, and so far we've talked about e-bikes,
e-bike safety. We had illegal fireworks,
bullying,
hot topic. Yep, homelessness and how to get housing. Film industry.
Yes, the
That's
film
a hot
industry.
topic.
Yeah, and
we had some celebrities calling in.
And a bill I think that I'll be testifying this week or next week on torture.
Yep, child torture. It's actually today. It's going on right now.
Okay, so we already submitted our testimony, and a lot of people called in. But I'm happy about today's segment because we're talking ocean safety, which has been in the news the last year.
Well, this is like a fun, sexy topic.
A fun, sexy topic.
And it's also important. So it's got a dual purpose.
One time I played a lifeguard on TV, but and also, a surfer.
And it was a comedy.
Of course, everything I do is a comedy. But
if you haven't seen it, it's called Aloha Surf Hotel.
Yeah.
We all went as a staff to see it.
I was also on
theater.
Baywatch Hawaii, Malia.
Oh, all right. That was
maybe,
probably a while ago. Just saying.
I think Momoa was like 21 years old, and I was this. I played Beach Boy #1, and then eventually one episode I played like a intern lifeguard, and I was fantasizing about Miss Universe. She was from Mexico.
On the show, right?
Right. The whole episode was just me fantasizing about Miss Universe.
Are you sure you're not just fantasizing about Miss Universe?
Yeah. But I learned a lot during that time and the importance, and
But can you save someone in a big surf? That's the question. If not, because we have two experts today who can.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we have them on, because guys like me cannot do that. I just support them because that's what we need to do, because we're surrounded by water.
Ocean.
Right.
Yes.
So, Hawaii is a paradise in many ways, but it's sparkling ocean. Waters can be deceptive. Several people drown on Oahu each year, and ocean safety personnel have to rescue hundreds more. Today we have acting chief.
Oh, no, chief. I had it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's chief.
I read everything.
Sorry. Yeah.
Chief Logger.
Everything. Yeah.
Chief, come on, ladies and gentlemen.
You didn't get the latest script.
Not only that, I got to give the people the number 2, because I know people are going to call, and I'm hoping all the lifeguards are listening right now while they, sitting at the tower, they maybe get questions, or maybe you have questions. The number here is 808-913-6450. That's 808-913-6450. I think I talk a lot, so why don't you introduce the guests, and let's get right to it.
So we do have Kurt Lager, who is the director of Hawaii's Ocean Safety Department, chief. And he's also been 19 years experience with ocean safety. He's worked his way up from tower lifeguard to training lieutenant to captain of communications to his last role of chief of operations. And I found out today he's from San Diego originally. Yeah. I love that town. And we have Dave Wassel, who I have known his family since I was a little kid. He is the City and County Lifeguard on the North Shore of Oahu. With 20 years of service, he has recently been promoted to lieutenant. Congratulations.
All right.
And even more impressive, he is a big wave surfer.
Nice. Nice. Again, the number here is 808-913-6450. I'm Augie. This is Malia. Didn't introduce myself, because we have a show at 4 o'clock every day live. I'm Augie. City Councilmember Augie Tulba. That is my Director of Communication, Malia Zimmerman. And welcome to the show. Okay, let's dive right into it because, we have, and go feel like it's long, but it goes by pretty quick. So, being part of the city and county's ocean safety staff is a huge responsibility. So, what does it take to be a lifeguard or work in rescue in your department? Anybody want to tackle that one?
Up to you, Kurt.
Yeah, I'll start off.
Okay.
First off, thanks for having us on. We're super
Absolutely.
happy to be here and talking story with you. To be a lifeguard with us, there's a few minimum qualifications you have to have. First, you have to be 18 years of age. You have to have your high school diploma, and then you have to have completed a CPR course, a lifeguard course, and a first aid course. And then you come down. Once you show your cards, you come down. We have tryouts usually about twice a year. You got to come down and you got to pass a physical performance test. We have one of the tougher physical performance tests anywhere in the state and nation, really, for that matter. Involves a 1,000-yard run, 1,000-yard swim under 25 minutes, a swim run under 3 minutes, 100 yards each, and then a 400-yard paddle under 4 minutes.
Is there an age requirement?
18 years of age.
Okay, I know, no, 18 years old. I'm talking about say once this 56-year-old go, I think I'll start saving people, and I still maybe in shape.
I think he was asking about himself.
Yeah.
We have lieutenants who
Yeah.
are 65, 70 years old setting the bar as to how fast you can perform those
Absolutely.
same requirements. So
Okay.
yes, you
Yeah.
could.
You could, right?
Technically, yeah. You could get out there and make some 18-year-old look really silly. Start practicing. Basically, it's the length of Almoana Beach Park.
Okay. Oh, no. They was serious, you should start practicing.
Hey, you're a Golden Gloves boxer. Why not?
I shot that movie, and I'm gonna be honest with you. That I was 52 at the time, just paddling. It's been a while since I paddled, on a surfboard just to shoot a scene where I wasn't surfing. I was just paddling out. Oh man, that shoulder.
Practice makes perfect, pal.
Yeah.
It only gets better.
It was terrible. But I gotta tell you, man, I learned so much in the last 4 years about what you guys do, and we just shot our Get to Know Your City,
Yeah.
and you guys got some of the coolest guys working that absolutely love their job. I saw the passion, during the whole becoming your own department. I saw the passion in you guys' department. I have family members out in Wyandotte, Lifeguards. What do you love best about your jobs?
What's not to love about our job?
Okay.
I get to go to work in slippers, shorts. Everybody wants that corner office when they grow up.
Yeah.
Every single one of the towers on all of our beaches statewide have amazing views. So, you got to love it. And you work outdoors, you work with great people, and best of all, you can make a difference in somebody's life. When somebody's having the worst day of their life, you can go from a zero to a hero just like that.
Yeah, I think there's nothing amazing that serving the public and then being just appreciated, because
A lot has changed.
Yeah,
a lot has changed. Yes.
we see the disrespect in a lot of fields, right? And it's nothing like being saying somebody just saying a thank you, or you a simple pull out from the ocean, right?
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the lifeguards are on a first name basis with everybody in the community that they
That
work
is
with.
awesome.
So it's great, to be a member of the community
Yeah.
and actually contributing towards it.
All right, Kurt. Chief. Sorry, Chief. What you like best about your job?
What's not to like about it? My favorite thing always through the years was knowing that you had that training break to come up. I loved getting in the ocean. No matter what kind of day you had, you knew you were going to get in the water. You're going to exercise, surf, swim, dive, whatever it is. It's just, you can't beat that. There's not many other jobs that provide that kind of
Right.
opportunity.
Right. Yeah, no, that's awesome. We have you have 43 towers around Oahu, right? And patrols with trucks, jet skis, UTVs, ATVs that are used to keep Oahu residents and visitors safe in some of the most dangerous beach conditions on the planet. What other equipment or structures do you hope to obtain, to make your job easier and our beaches safer? And I think, this is something that I need to know because as a member of the city council, we approve the mayor's budget, but then we also can advocate, and it's something that I know it's important. Again, we're surrounded by water.
Yeah, there's some interesting new tools coming out. We always fall back on the basics. You always have to rely on your own physical condition, being able to go out and save someone. You can't always rely on technology or something to save a life. But there is things coming out here, and especially in the preventive action world. The city's just announced that they're going to do their H&L alert, so we can put out prevention safety messages to everyone before again. So if we can stop someone from getting in trouble in the first place,
right, prevent it.
Basically make the rescue on land, it makes our job so much easier.
So tell us a little bit more about that alert.
Yeah,
explain that to the audience.
Yeah, it's H&L alert, and we're one of the city agencies that's going to be on it, and it's taking over from HNL.info before. And on this, we might, as an ocean safety department, we will put out an alert that gets pushed out to everyone's phones or on emails if there's a high surf warning, if there's box jellyfish warnings, shark advisories, any type of hazards that might be at the water. And it's a way for us to communicate to the public and get warnings out before they even get to the beach, maybe.
Wow, that's awesome.
So what about like drones? I've seen on Instagram, some of those drones that I don't even know if they're real.
Drones are changing the game as well.
Oh, yeah?
Eyes in the sky. To be able to look up and look down in the water, they have a couple different uses or several different uses, but the one that's been most popular lately is to see sharks.
Yeah.
When we get a potential shark sighting, if we can get a drone up in the air and then get a sight, or missing swimmers, to cover area faster. It's a lot easier to launch a drone than it is to get a helicopter or a plane in the air.
What about that kind, they send out in the ocean, like right through the water?
We have tested a few of those, and if the waves are big, that little boat driving thing's not going to make its way out there.
You're a lot better.
Yeah, we'd rather swim out there.
The real thing.
We're talking in the State of the City address. Mayor Blangiardi said his administration is committed to purchasing a parcel of land on the North Shore to build a world-class first responder hub, which is pretty exciting. What do you envision that being like, and why the hub is so needed on the North Shore? Who wants to take that one?
Well, I'll just start off by saying anything is better than we've got right now.
Okay.
A lot of the buildings that we're in are outdated. So anything that let's start with the leaky roof. So just things. First of all, that's been where they're proposing to have this new hub has been the epicenter of 90% of our serious incidents this winter. It's been very busy, my friends, very busy. We've always been busy during the winter on the North Shore, but this past 9 months have been in the past 20 years.
Can you give us like an idea when you say busy? Because we know the North Shore.
I could say there's 9 people who had the worst days of their life.
Oh, gosh.
Since June.
So normally.
A lot less than that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because he came off COVID and everyone's like, yeah, let's hit the beach or what. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it really has been a tough day at work for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's a great location, because, and it's so iconic. Everyone knows the area.
This
and
is by Sharks Cove or something, right?
Right across the street.
Right. And a big thing is, right, everybody comes to Hawaii. We have 10 million visitors a year. I think we have 6 million that come straight to Oahu. They're not coming for the shopping.
Right.
They're coming for the beaches. Let's be honest. Yeah. And, Hanama Bay, which is known for snorkeling, closes in a few days, and then it only accepts a smaller number of people. So everybody go, where's the next snorkeling place? Oh, Sharks Cove. It's got a cool name.
Yeah.
I heard there's turtles out there. Nobody says anything about high surf.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a great place in the summer, but in the winter, a lot of people just don't know. And that's where being a lifeguard really comes in. You were saying earlier, young lady said, I don't know if he'll be able to rescue somebody in high surf. You could, because first of all, you prevent the rescue with your voice.
Right.
Okay, and that's number one. When I came into this department as a lifeguard, young, full of vim and vigor, I can run and swim and do all that. I watched a girl get swept off the beach. I ran down, jumped on the TV at Waimea as fast as I could go.
Right.
She was getting tumbled around in 10-foot surf, and I'm looking at this, racing to this, and she's not going to make it. It's called climbing the ladder. When you go Ala Moana and you see the koi kind of just the lip sticking out of the surface.
Yeah.
That's what she was doing. I go, oh gosh, this is going to be recovery. And my partner, who's now a lieutenant, Carrie Atwood, picked up a megaphone and yelled with the sound of his voice. Another local bodyboarder got pulled out and said, hey, you with the red bodyboard, turn
Get
around.
out,
Give her the board right now. Saved her life with the sound of his voice.
Yeah.
And to this day, I remember that. That's my first day going, look, I might be strong and fast, but I'm not that fast. And the smarter man saved the day.
I think what I like, cool, there's been some cool videos on the beach with lifeguards telling people straightforward, brah, no, do what you're going to do. And I think that's so, because I get it. Visitors come to our islands and they see, man, okay, I get to be a part of this amazing, and I get to jump in not knowing, what to expect. Just because you see several people out there, that doesn't mean that you can too. And I've seen some of your lifeguards just straightforward. Just tell them, maybe it might look bad to some people, but like for me, who was a resident, I look, wow, your life just got saved.
But like any given day in Hawaii, everything starts with respect. Okay.
Correct.
So you approach that person with class and respect. If you don't get it back, the tone might change.
Right.
So you don't necessarily see that if you're looking on Instagram or whatever. They're just going to highlight those target points.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the lifeguard said
No,
this
but
and that.
still,
But I'm sure it started with, hey guys, not the day, and you got the return of the flat tire. Whatever. Like, oh.
Does that happen a lot, for real?
You'd be surprised. Like, people come here with a goal in mind. They spend a lot of money to fly here, travel here. They want to go surf this iconic wave. They want to snorkel in this idyllic bay. They're going to go in, and as many times as you warn them, their mind is set already. You know? And sometimes it's just
it's like the script from High Surf.
Yes. So
every week.
Last week, Pipeline was good for a month straight, but last week, 2 girls showed up to the lifeguard tower. Where can we rent boards? And it's big Pipeline. I said, what are you talking about? Oh, we got to get out there. We got to get our picture taken.
Oh, no. I bet that's a lot of it, right? The social media aspect.
Exactly.
I used to work at Hanama Bay, and I'd have visitors to the bay come up and hold up a mask and snorkel and ask how to use it. And then you ask them if they can swim, and they've never been in the ocean, in the water whatsoever, and they want to go out and do an activity that can be very strenuous.
Very frightening.
See, it is. And, the thing is, like, the internet is awesome, but it's also dangerous because, we talked about this in the Get to Know Your City. People think, I want to go maybe jump in the water in this part, and we don't have coverage. And, people, like with the whole hiking, right? A lot of people are taking trails that they're not supposed to, and they're jumping in water that they're not supposed to. So, like, what do we do with that? What do we do with that situation? How do we, deal with that? What can we do more, as, like,
like
public
educational
officials,
public officials or news reports or and when they're coming on the airplane, a video, like what is it do you think can, besides your voice on the beach and telling them?
There is one. Hawaiian Airlines does have a video, and also when you land in Maui, there's lifeguards talking to people all over where you get your baggage, which
That's
is great.
Smart.
What
Wow.
I'd also like to see, a 911 call go down, and they go police, fire, ambulance. How about lifeguard, police, fire, or ambulance? We do. Everybody's in the same communication building now.
Yes.
And so, but a lot of time it gets past a fire, and then they pass it back to the lifeguard. So we kind of took over a lot of the water safety from the fire department. The fire department at one point did have jet skis, but they got rid of them and they gave them all to us. So I think it's growing, right? There's room to improve.
Is that the traffic management center, or what is it called?
Yeah, the Joint
Emergency-
Traffic Management Center.
Yeah, we
And,
took a tour there.
Yeah, and we've, since we've been there, that communication that Dave's talking about has gotten so much better where, yes, it does go to fire first, but within seconds, and we have actually got it automated now. If it's a water emergency, it auto-populates to us, and we're on the way as well.
No, I think it's super important. We talked about that a little bit too in our video because, who would better know about the water than a lifeguard, right?
So if you call 911 and ask for a lifeguard,
right,
they will patch them straight to us.
See, that's so good. Again, we all have to take some sort of responsibility, and I'm heavy on that. In that, we all need to understand, our boundaries, right? And not just, think, hey, maybe I can swim. Like, you have no idea. Man, I remember one time And I'm a decent swimmer. I can swim. But I was, I think it was out in Makaha. It was like early in the morning. I just figured, I'll go take a nice swim, and I could feel, the undertow. And I was like, okay, you can panic and try to fight it, or, just write them off. And but how many people know that? And all these guys that come from the mainland, or they think, ooh, I'm in Makaha, right? And then they end up, either drowning or being rescued by you guys, right?
Well, we get a lot of the preventional rescues with the tourists, but we do actually respond to a lot of local people as well, because people are going to push their limits eventually.
Right.
Right. I mean, for the most part, local people, we've all grown up going to the beach. It was free, right? So you got to know the ocean and your surrounding areas. But at some point, you're going to say, hey, that's not enough. I'm going to go chase it a little more, a little more. And basically, it comes down to you shouldn't be out there if you can't swim in. If you're bored or your leash breaks, you got to be able to get in by yourself.
Yeah.
So the most dangerous beach in Hawaii is a beach without a lifeguard. I'll tell you that right now. We have great lifeguards all around the state.
Yes.
Hilo to Hanalei. I happen to work on the North Shore. I think my team might be the best. No offense. I love everybody out there.
Yeah.
There's phenomenal people. Those are the ones that I trust my life with.
Oh, that's awesome. So, all the lifeguards are listening right now. Is Dave correct? 808-913 6450 6440 is my radio show.
It sounds like a challenge to me.
450.
If I could, I'd go out to some of the other beaches and recruit guys from other islands. But hey, it is what it is.
Right.
We got a good working team.
But do you need more people, or
yes,
do you do?
Please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we need more people around the island, and we're about to start a recruit class now. But like I said, we're going to be doing recruitment again starting sometime this summer for another class.
Okay, we'll dive into recruitment, because again, if you you want to serve, like Dave was talking about, there's nothing more giving than trying to help make the lives of people better. And that is like serving and becoming a lifeguard, becoming a police officer, a fire department, EMS person, because we need it right now in our city. We need all the help we can get. I think Leah wants to do it. You want to be a lifeguard? The producer, no, she's shaking her head. You sure now? We are looking for lifeguards, right, Chief?
Yeah, we're hiring.
Okay. All right. So when we're looking at recruitment, the time.
We just did tryouts. We do 2 tryouts a year, and we're looking probably this summer, late summer, July, August. We'll have tryouts, and then a class that will start probably October.
Okay.
And try to get them in for the winter season.
All right. So, what's the biggest mistakes people can make that result in their safety being compromised at the beach?
Not talking to a lifeguard. Plain and simple. Going to a beach without a lifeguard. Start with that. Not giving it 10 minutes to see how big the surf really is. As far as a non-local person, say a tourist comes up and they show up and they go, oh, wow, it looks flat. Or you see where the water is at that moment, and they're responding to, what we know in the past, where a lake is or a river, the water stays there.
Right.
They don't understand that every 10 minutes there could be a 20, literally what we would call 20 foot, which is whatever, 50-foot face rushing up through Ehukai Beach Park, down again, Sandy's. That's why you hear the lifeguards at all the beaches constantly talking to people. And it's not because we don't want them to have fun. We want everybody to have fun.
Of course.
If I have to work hard, or any of my partners do, that's not a good day.
Right.
I don't want to work with a lifeguard who says, I did 10 rescues today. I want to work with the lifeguard that says, I prevented all 10 rescues today.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking fire, police, or ambulance, but they respond to 911 calls.
Sure.
Where we're trying to prevent those from happening. I love you guys down at fire and EMS and police. We work with them all the time. I mean, every one of our lifeguard towers is on Kamehameha Highway, so we deal with car accidents, not just surfing. Domestic violence, overdoses, you name it. So it's busy. It's busy, but I think the number one thing is go talk to a lifeguard.
Right.
It's a local person with tons of knowledge.
Yeah.
And if this might not be suitable for you and your family, we can point you in a direction that is great for everybody. It's an island, right?
Right.
Surrounded by water. According to my father, it's only an island if you go to the beach. He can't swim. He learned to swim when he was about 65, but that was a long time before he decided to go back.
It's called ocean safety for a reason.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because we want you guys to understand that, safety first before jumping in the water.
And safety is no accident.
Correct.
There we go.
Correct. Simple. I know you have a question, Malia.
Well, no, I was just going to say, maybe you could give some safety tips besides, go to a beach with a lifeguard, ask the lifeguard questions, look at the ocean, watch it for 10 minutes. What else?
You never want to turn your back on the ocean. Some of the stuff that we think is common sense that might not be common sense for others. Like he said, watch it for 10 minutes, but don't turn your back on it. If you're going to go somewhere where it's rocky, if the rocks are wet, the waves are washing up. And we frequently deal with people that like to go out to get photos or whatever they're doing on the rocks, and then they don't see the waves coming, and then next thing you know, they're in the water.
You're on Instagram.
Yeah,
you're on Instagram.
Thank you very much. So if everybody's looking at this on Instagram and whatnot, the social media, why don't you get on these forums and ask those people, are there any dangers? If you're not going to listen to me and you're only listening to your social media, why don't you check with them? Because I'm sure there's other pictures of people just getting scratched and drilled.
Yes.
In horrifying situations. So, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to these other people that you never heard from in your life.
We're talking ocean safety, 808-913-6450. So what beaches on Oahu are the most dangerous for swimmers or surfers?
I like to say that any beach at any time can be the most dangerous. Whether it's flat, 20 feet, a body of water is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
And Sandy Beach, I have seen so many rescues at Sandy Beach during the summer, right? Is it the summer?
Yep,
summer. Yep.
So everybody's going to say, Pipeline, Waimea, Sandy Beach, right? But you look at the numbers of people who might no longer be here with us or had a really close call. It can be Waikiki on a 1-foot day. It does not matter. You got to realize that it doesn't take very much water down the wrong pipe to really complicate things.
Right.
And so, as Kurt, the chief, said earlier, people are getting confused with a mask and snorkel. It's that simple.
Yeah. No, I remember in high school we were surfing bows.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was low tide, but the waves were pretty decent. And where the thing is breaking, you can see the reef, and the guy panicked because he saw the reef coming up.
There you go.
Right. He's trying to jump. You don't do that, right? And man, I luckily lifeguards are there because it was like a summer thing, and but everyone's like, dude, that's what happens. You gotta kind of know. So,
but that's like I said, somebody's gonna always push their limits.
Correct.
And so that's what happened, and you get caught off guard.
All right, we got a caller, John from Kalihi.
K-Town.
Yeah, what's up, Kalihi? I love it, John. What's going on? You're on live.
How's it? Aloha from Kali.
Aloha.
What's your question?
So my question is, I know it's like mainland they get like handball courts, pickleball courts by the beach. In fact, by Fort Rusi there's a handball court, pickleball court, and I know a lot of guys. There are a lot of handball players and a lot of pickleball players. So I'm wondering who should we have to write to, or how could we go about requesting like handball courts or more pickleball courts? In particular, I favor handball, by the way, but. Mm-hmm. Who would we write to about that and try and get people engaged? Because we had some guys, like maybe about 40 guys we play on 2 courts. One is Kaneohe, the other one is under the bridge by Moaloa.
Got it.
That's why I saw that's why I saw brother Larry last. I miss my brother. I hate to bring it up, but anyway, that's what I want to know. Who do we ask to get more courts? I keep feeling compelled to ask you. I've been trying to reach out to you, but Augie, I don't know how to reach you. But, that's my question.
Okay, John. Thank you for calling. I'm pretty sure that ocean safety people play handball or pickleball. But John, the best thing to do is to call your council person in the district. So you're Kalihi, Radiant Cordero. Radiant Cordero. Reach out to her. And let her know, that there's a lot of pickleball players and a lot of handball players that, be interested to see, more courts in the parks.
And we do hear from pickleball players a lot in your office.
Yes.
Us guys, we get muscled off the courts by the pickleball guys. Like, you should see it. Golden Gloves boxers from 1952 to get action, I tell you.
right, John. Hey, we're talking ocean safety today, but I appreciate your call. Again, give your council member. No.
I just jumped in. Thank you.
All right, no worry.
I love it.
I know. It's like,
Man, these people are passionate. We get so many emails, calls, messages on Instagram about pickleball. I tell you, and sometimes it's like a war between the tennis people and the pickleball people, and who left what line and took a net, and oh my gosh, it's passionate.
I was kind of like,
Fastest growing sport in the nation.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is. See, so all the lifeguards and ocean safety personnel, they put their life on the line. Okay. For other people, do you have do you have any unique stories? Like I said, you guys risk your guys' lives, daily out there at the beaches. And is there any story that stand out about how a lifeguard went above and beyond to save someone's life, besides the one that you told me about the
lieutenant
and the throwing the board, yelling out, "Hey, throw your boogie board"? Is any stories, notable story?
Yeah, every single winter there's 100 great stories. I guess the most recent would have been great pipeline surfer Mackay McNamara hit his head and literally drowned. When he was brought to the beach, he was no longer the color that he's supposed to be.
Gosh.
And the lifeguards and surrounding surfers were able to luckily revive him. And to see him, being hugged by his mom. One, he gets another birthday. Two, his mom gets to hug him one more time.
Yeah.
That's the payback.
Right.
Really, seeing that individual return to their family, and mom, she's not going to let go of that.
Oh, gosh.
It's just going to go on. So that's phenomenal. And I think all of it is how well lifeguards work as a team. That's what. There's no individual, right? Back in the day, Eddie Aikau would have been known for doing all these incredible rescues by himself. But things have changed. There's a lot more people here, and so we need a lot more lifeguards. And everybody knows how to work well together,
right,
to get a hold of that situation. So that would be the most recent one, I'd say.
Chief, you got a story that stand out?
They all stand out. Every rescue stands out. There's stories of lifeguards off duty. We're never off duty. There's kind of that saying, and we're out surfing. People make rescues. You're out on boats, whatever you're fishing, whatever you're doing. There's a lot of stories. I don't really have a specific.
There was a
one.
story in the news today, or yesterday, about a lifeguard that got presented a certificate from the mayor for rescuing somebody off duty in Makaha or something.
Well, I guess one that just popped into my mind is off-duty lifeguard Nolan Kealana when I think
Kahiao,
yes,
the young boy's name from Kamehameha Schools, was out paddling with his group.
And his name
is Kahiao. And right before dark, everybody returned to the Alawai, and they said, "Oh wait, we're missing one boat."
Gosh.
Okay, now Nolan Kealana, last name, remember that he is a Kealana. And first name, no land. Literally, because that boy belongs in the water.
Okay.
He is super talented.
Yeah, I met him like several times now. Yeah,
he's been at the council recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was working with Hokulea.
Okay.
And he called up Mr. Thompson and says, "Hey, I need the escort boat."
Yeah.
He's like, "Brother, it's dark." He said, "Yeah, but this kid just fell off. He's out there somewhere. No child should be out there at night. I'm going." And right there, boss man said, "Go for it. You take the boat, you go find him." And he did.
Yeah.
It took a long time, but he was able to do it. And nobody else would have been able to do that. And another thing, I'm going to always praise my partner, but I'd love to take this time to say, Mr. Kahiao, that young man, thank you for staying afloat. Right? You stayed with his boat. I think it was 14 hours or something. He was out there alone in the dark.
Can you imagine that?
No, please, no.
Yeah, I know,
but he was able to have the wherewithal to say, "Oh, I'm going to stay with my boat. I can't get back in it, but I'm going to hold on to it."
Correct.
And that's how they found him.
Yeah, I know. The story blew me away, and I got to meet the young man and the lifeguard that did that, and man, that's that right there.
Oh, you think mom doesn't hug that kid 24/7? Come on.
Amazing.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
The best conversation happens during the commercial break. But we are filming this, so, you got to cut all that out.
I'm not going to put the part about, what you just said.
Yeah, I want to say thank you in advance. That was amazing. Thank you.
Oh, dude, you want to hear?
Yes, I'll stick around after.
See, the whole comedy for me is because I've lived this really colorful life that's been very truthful, and that's why, man, I have the best job in the world. When this city council stuff is over, my act will be amazing, guys.
Sure.
You're going to sell out the Blaisdell again. Huh? You're going to be the only local comic to sell it out, not once, but twice.
You want to hear everything about the last 8 years?
Uh-oh.
No.
Inside story.
You might have a hit out on you. I'd be careful.
No. It's been a wonderful, I know, 5 years, Malia. Can you believe it?
Yes, I
We got
know.
3.5 more years to go, and we really want to get people to, look into the different programs that Ocean Safety offers. Now, Chief, you want to, run by, the stuff that you wanted to specifically talk about when you talk, junior lifeguards and some of the things that you guys are doing to reach out to the community.
Yeah, the community involvement's really important to us, and one of the ways we do it, of several, is our junior lifeguard program. We've been running that program now for a number of years, and this year we're looking to expand and get even more kids involved, and that will run from the beginning of June through the end of July. And all that information's at oceansafety.honolulu.gov.
Okay. You guys got that one?
Yeah. I think that program's really cool. I see the
Yeah.
kids at the beach, doing the girls and the boys, and they're like going out there and they're doing their swimming and everything.
And
it's
it
really
kind
great.
of piggybacks off Dave's earlier story, is how many junior lifeguards have we trained, and then they're in the water and they make the rescue because they're in the water before we can get there. They're like an extension of what we do.
And you and I both grew up in Kailua. Kailua is where the first junior lifeguard program took place back in like 1990. Jack Johnson would have been in that.
Oh,
Everybody
that's
knows
cool.
the musician. He was the
Yeah.
first junior lifeguard program, and since it spread out to all over the island. And now we have people like three-time world champ John Florence and his brothers. They were in it as well.
Wow.
Bear Mamiya, two-time Pipe Masters champion. Like, there's people who come through that class and really excel. Shion Crawford. If you're in the world of surfing, these are top names. They're like the best thing that money has going in the state of Hawaii.
Speaking about top names, some of your lifeguards are also big wave surfers, like Joey
Including
Chan.
you,
Yes,
Dave.
Luke.
Luke Shepperton.
Yeah, three who entered the Eddie Aikau. How does your lifeguard team support them and other big wave surfers who are in competition and training?
How do we support them? Besides a pat on the back, I break it down for Luke and teach him.
So I know
calm
Luke
him
was
down.
like working that day.
Yes, I was in the tower with him. It was phenomenal. It was amazing.
It's like, okay, I'm going to enter this surf contest, but then I might still have to work.
But it was great because it actually took his mind off the stress of performing in front of. There was 20,000 plus people on the beach watching, not to mention all the cameras and everything. It's a lot to endure.
Right.
So not just physically, but mentally. So I think being on duty actually helped calm him down. He was out there to just go out and surf, do his thing, catch a few waves, come in, go back to work. He had his wife and kid down below. Mom and dad were down there. It was like a day at the beach for him. It was great.
I have kind of a random question, though. Okay, so you have the big wave surfers, and you have people getting towed out. So who are those people? Are those you guys towing people, like lifeguards towing people out, or are those like friends?
When they go in prior to catching the wave, because I know you gotta.
Oh, you're talking about the Hawaiian Water Patrol that was on the beach. Okay, so Waimea, during that contest, there is Hawaiian Water Patrol, and that's run by Terry Ahue.
Oh, okay.
And a bunch of very talented individuals, one being Nolan Kealana that we spoke from earlier. They're all past lifeguards if they're not currently lifeguards, but they are there in case something goes wrong, which can easily go wrong. They're out there.
Right, because you got to paddle out.
Yes, but you also watch on those days, every time they have the eddy, which is once every 5 years basically, the skis get rejected. The waves close out and they have to run up the beach. Like, where else in the world does that ever happen? That, you're out there and everybody thinks, I'm not this jet ski and I'm at the top of the pecking order. Like, no, Mother Nature will turn around and show you who's boss.
Yeah.
And every single year they have to rush up the beach. And then we grab them and turn them around and push them back in. But they're there in case something goes wrong.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
pretty
just didn't know if that was like the lifeguards doing that or if it was an organization.
There is lifeguards out there as well, but Hawaiian Water Patrol, run by Tara Hue and his crew, are... You can't top that. You really can't.
We winding down.
I wish there were lifeguards with us every day.
We winding down. So, like, what again? Because we want to try to encourage people listening to maybe consider becoming a part of the ocean safety. So, what are some of the characteristics you guys look for, in people who you hire to work in ocean safety and rescue?
Somebody watches the water. Plain and simple. You can't spot something wrong if you're looking the wrong way. I don't need somebody who can be the fastest at Almana Beach Park for the North Shore. No offense, but if that person, maybe they set the new record in calm water, that's where they need to stay. I want somebody who's good in adverse conditions.
And you guys train that. You train a person to become that, correct?
Yes, we do. But
some
it's also,
naturally have it.
Some naturally
Really?
have it.
Wow.
Yes, some people are just born with it. I work with a guy named Tal Hanneman at Pipeline. He's a senior guard there. He's been there 20 years. Every time it's way too big to serve Pipeline, his first thing to do is grab the rescue board and punch out. And nobody else is out there. And that's his duty. In his mind, he knows, I have to be the guy who breaks through just in case. Even though there's nobody else out there. And it's I mean, this is not the brightest thing.
Right.
But, for anybody else, but for him, it's
That's his thing.
It was meant to be.
Right.
And we've all seen it. We just sit there and go, yep, there he is.
Maybe you
There's
need
Mr.
to.
Hanneman.
And yes, everybody will always come and tell, do you realize there's somebody out there? Like, out with the whales breaching. And
Right.
there he is, just kind of hanging out.
Right.
Not all heroes wear capes, let's put it that way. He's
That
got
is
board
so
shorts.
awesome.
You guys need your own
amazing.
helicopter. You get dropped out there.
Yeah, we'll put that in the budget.
Put it
One
in the
day, right,
budget.
right.
Put
That's-
it in the budget.
Like I said, that's why we're so proud to work with other agencies such as Fire, who
Right.
does have
Right.
a helicopter.
Hey, Chief, the website again. We want people to go to the website, and we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Yeah, oceansafety.honolulu.gov. And yeah, thanks for having us. All our lifeguards are amazing island-wide. I know we highlighted
Absolutely.
a few today, but every single person has a story to tell, and they all do such a phenomenal job.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us here on the right side. Again, thank you to all our ocean safety personnel out there, risking your lives and making sure that our people and our visitors are safe when they come here in our beautiful state of Hawaii. All right, on behalf of Malia, I'm Augie. Thank you guys so much for listening. What's next week?
Oh, we're going to have Dita Hollyfield
Hey!
on. She is in charge of enterprise services, and she is she has the funnest job in the city, don't you think? Except maybe your job.
Very fun job.
Yeah.
I'm jealous often.
I mean, me too. She can go to the zoo anytime she wants. That's what I want to be able to do.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great, great day.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Stuck